NBA Finals Game 2 goes this Friday night, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Knicks and Spurs. And I've got free plays on the side, total, player props, everything you need to profit and make some money with Game 2 on Friday night coming up free for you right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV, breaking down your Game 2 NBA Finals matchup Friday night. And if you're liking these videos, I'll keep them coming. I've given you every NBA game this postseason, and I'll continue to do so through the finals. So click subscribe. Click the bell for instant alerts. And also, a thumbs up like is always appreciated for these videos. And if you're on your mobile device, you get to click the hype button as well, which is so much fun. All right, hey, pretty good game one, right? You know, we were worried about the rust. Well, we were debating the rust versus the rest factor. Knicks were playing only, I think, their fourth or fifth game in like 23 days. That was an incredible stat that I heard during game one. I had to think about it. Well, that's right. You know, they had like a week off and they played 4 games, had another week off. It was on their 5th game in like 3 weeks. And the rust did not show early. They were up, 10-4? But then Jalen Brunson got banged up in the first half. Spurs were up by 7 going into halftime. Knicks hit that, one of the teams, what is it? The Spurs hit the three-pointer at the buzzer, I think, to go up 7. And it looked like they were controlling the game in the third quarter. Even though Brunson came back, he was hobbled, knee and then ankle. And the Spurs were up by 14 points mid-third quarter. And it was looking like it was kind of playing out like we thought it would. San Antonio, the better team at home, pulling ahead. But as the Knicks have done in both game ones of the Eastern Conference Finals and now the NBA Finals, they came from behind double-digit deficits in the second half to pull it out. In fact, they went on an 11-0 run to finish the game. They were trailing by 1 and then scored 11 straight to win 105-95. Another double-digit win by the Knicks during an incredible run. Now 12 straight wins. They're only the third team in NBA playoff history to win 12 straight in the same postseason. The other 2 teams to do it, the Warriors in 17 won the title, and the Spurs did it in 99 when they beat the Knicks in the NBA Finals. I don't think it happens in this one, though. I still rate San Antonio as good, if not better, this year than the Knicks. Regular season, they had the higher defensive efficiency, the higher offensive efficiency. Yes, the Knicks have better numbers in the playoffs, but they've also played a weaker overall schedule. Hawks, 76ers, Cavs. Spurs played Blazers, T-Wolves, but they had a much higher class level against the Thunder. And I don't think it was a rest versus rust factor. I don't think the Knicks were rusty. And I don't think the fatigue really kicked in on the Spurs. I think it was just sloppy basketball. And the one concern with San Antonio this entire playoffs and why people didn't think they were going to win the championship this year is they're an extremely young team. 3 of their top 6 players are under 22 years old or 22 or younger. And I do think the inexperience showed at times, but I'm not too concerned about it. They just played a 7-game series against the defending champ Thunder, one on the road in Game 7, won Game 6 and 7 to get here. Maybe a little bit of fatigue in the second half, but now with the day off, remaining at home, I still feel like they're the better team. And the big difference in Game 1 was just bad offense, really by both teams. They got to 200 points. You know, the pace of play was fast. That first quarter, back and forth, boom, 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 but they were missing shots and taking some bad shots. And Wembanyama, you know, it's ironic. About a week ago, I said, could he become the best big man ever? You know, I love the comments. I read them. Comment below. We all reply back. But then after last night, I started thinking, boy, could Wemby possibly be overrated? Turned the ball over in the second to last possession, and then he had a bad forced three-pointer, something he did quite often, I thought, in Game 1. Overall, the Spurs, by the way, just 11 for 43 from three-point range, 26%. Only 36% from the field. Yeah, the Knicks have been playing better defense in the postseason, but they're not a great defensive team. Spurs are going to shoot better than 36% in Game 2. If they don't, hey, they're in trouble. But they do have a tendency to bounce back after bad offensive showings. In fact, they've only scored below 100 points 3 other times this entire season in over 90-some games. And they've bounced back with at least 111 points or more in all 3 games after. By the way, their team total, right around 110.5 in this game. So I do think there's some value with that Spurs team total up and over 110.5. I look for a bounce-back effort here in Game 2. Knicks only shot 41% from the field. They got to 105. They actually stayed under their team total. You know, we talked about the Spurs liking them in Game 1, but I also gave you the under in Game 1. Also gave you the under Knicks team total, with despite winning still stayed under the 106.5, 107. The Knicks, though, have scored 105 or more in all 14 playoff games, but that was their lowest output of the postseason, shooting just 41% from the field, 31% from three-point range. So I'm kind of neutral on the Knicks team total. I do think the game will be higher scoring. 200 points with really bad shooting. It was a fast pace. And something else I pointed out in the Game 1 video is that game one between Class A teams, just like I said in the conference finals, in the NBA finals usually is much lower scoring. Same with game 6s and 7s, which are always elimination games. We often see higher scoring games 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's what we saw in the Thunder series. Games 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the Western Conference Finals, 3 of those 4 went over. Now keep in mind, game 1 did go over, but it was under after regulation and the first overtime. So we saw this same makeup the Spurs last round played in the conference finals, and the question becomes, will we see it again here in this round? By the way, the Knicks went over just because of the high-scoring comeback. They went over by a basket against Cleveland. They did stay under in game 2, but then 3 and 4 went over. So these two teams combined were 5 and 2 over in games 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the conference finals in the previous round. So I do like the over 214.5 here. Definitely like the Spurs team total over 110.5. Knicks team total is 104.5. They have scored 105 or more in all 14 playoff games. So I would just kind of stay away from the Knicks team total. That probably gets up and over. But I do like the Spurs to cover the spread also minus the 6 points, because if they bounce back offensively, it probably leads to a win. And by the way, off their 6 losses so far this postseason, they've scored 118 points or more in 4 of those 6 games. So don't let the game 1 result fool you. San Antonio led for 56% of the game. They had a 14-point lead. The Knicks' biggest lead of the night was the final score, their 10-point lead, which they had to go on an 11-1 run, 11-0 run just to win by 10, and they only led 41% of the game. These are two good teams, two evenly matched teams, but as we saw in the previous round with the Thunder and Spurs, two evenly matched Class A teams, the zig and the zag worked. In fact, games 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the Western Conference Finals, the team that won never trailed in the second half. So while that went 7, it was still blowout, blowout, blowout. Game 1 wasn't really a blowout. It could have gone either way. The Knicks pulled ahead late. I think the Spurs get back on track here in Game 2 on Friday night. That's at 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Hey, what are your thoughts on this game? By the way, something I forgot to point out in the Game 1 video is that, ding, ding, red flag alert, the Knicks are definitely a public dog. They were so in Game 1. They're going to be here in Game 2, especially after the win. And they're really a public dog in the series price as well. So while the Spurs were like minus 190, Knicks were plus 165 in the series price, it probably should have been over 200 based on all regular season metrics. Definitely deflated now that the Knicks are playing incredible, no question about it. But the Spurs are playing pretty good this postseason as well. But now look at the adjusted series price. Knicks are minus 130 to win the series. You can get the Spurs now at plus 110, plus money, if you think they can win 4 of the next 6 games. And if they win Game 2 here on Friday night, as I think they will, they're going to be minus money again. So that's also not a bad way to play it here. You can play the Spurs series price. Even if they lose Game 2, they still have a chance. They're probably not a good chance at that point. They'd have to win 4 out of 5. But you also could always hedge if they win Game 2, as I think they will. So you might want to take a look at the series price. Plus 110 now is fairly intriguing, as it was almost minus 200 just one game ago. By the way, I put this on Twitter, on X, at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L. Follow me on X and Instagram, at Steve Merril. After Game 1, I mentioned that 70% mark. Teams that win Game 1 have gone on to win the series 70% of the time. So history is somewhat up against it for the Spurs, but you got to dig a little bit deeper. And I don't have the exact number here. I didn't dig deep enough, I guess. I'd like to see what the record is when the road team wins Game 1 for this series. And the reason I mentioned that, as I said earlier, 58 out of 79 NBA Finals, the home court advantage team has won the title. And they'd won 61. They'd gone 61 and 18, I believe, in Game 1 overall. So most of the time, the home team wins Game 1, and most of the time they win the series. So here again, that 70% mark doesn't really apply here because we don't have a lot of situations where the road team wins Game 1, let alone goes on to win the series. So that number doesn't scare me too much, even though overall it is 55 and 24, 70% that the Game 1 winner goes on to win the series. All right, let's look at some player props here. I think this is always a good way to attack these games, especially when we have a game under our belt. And keep in mind, these teams did play 3 times during the regular season, not just 2. They played 3 because they played in a game that didn't count. It won a cup championship, but it doesn't show in the record. Good question. Do the stats count? That's something I don't know. If you know the answer to that, drop it in the comments below. The semifinal game counts. So when San Antonio beat Oklahoma City, that win counted in the regular season record. But everyone plays the same amount of games, basically. They make up those games for the non-cup semifinals. They play regular season games. But the cup finals in Vegas on December 16th was a bonus game. It did not count in the record. Did the stats count? My guess is yes, But actually, no, I'm thinking they probably don't because I think everybody shows his 82 games played, right? That's kind of crazy, right? Let me know. I can Google that. I could AI it. I could find out, and I probably will after the show. But hey, if you know the answer, if you look it up, drop it in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts on that. Should it count? I think the finals should count. They should give everybody, including the semifinal losers, an extra game in the regular season. It's kind of ridiculous. You play an intensity game like the Cup Finals where teams are trying to win, and the record doesn't count, and the stats might not count. I have to check that out. I'm curious about that. Something I'd never thought about until now here on Wager Talk TV. As you know, the Knicks won that game, and as I pointed out also in my Game 1 video and series preview, over 200 shot attempts. The pace was fast, and then that New Year's Eve game in San Antonio when the Spurs got their revenge with the blow, not the blowout, but the high scoring 134-132 win. Cup Finals was 124-113. Another reason I like the over here in Game 2. But then the Knicks game was much slower pace, lower scoring in the one in March 1st. But still, those totals were 233, 235, 227. Now just 214.5 after being 217.5. So, yeah, don't let the Game 1 results fool you. And the other thing I'll point out is we do have some good player props data to work with. Wemby came off the bench in the Cup Final, and he didn't play quite as many minutes as he normally would have. He played well at times in Game 1, and I mentioned I thought he made some bad decisions down the stretch, but I still saw the ability for him to score against a New York team that's not all that big down low. Karl Anthony Towns is battling. I think he'll continue to battle. He was a guy who said we might look to fade. He did have 18 points on 7 for 15 shooting, but he was 0 for 2 from 3. Brunson took 9 threes. I think he won't take as many threes if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, he has to score getting to the hoop. If he's not healthy, he'll take more threes. He was a little banged up, but that's going to just be bad news for the Knicks. But in general, I think more Knicks players are going to have to take three-point shots here. So you could definitely play some Knicks player prop over three-point attempts. OG Anunoby had 6 attempts from three-point range. Hart was 0 for 3. Towns 0 for 2. I think they're going to take more threes. Hart really struggled to score in general, just 1 for 5 from the field overall. And he only took 2 shot attempts inside the arc. So I think Josh Hart three-point attempts over is worth a look in game number 2. Bridges did not take a 3. He was 3 for 6 down low. He also might take a few more than expected. We're getting some good value now because they didn't take a lot in game 1. I'm hesitant to play anybody under because I think it could be a high-scoring game on the Knicks side. But Brunson, if he does get re-injured on the knee or ankle, never looking to fade a superstar, but I'd be careful with him after that 30-point game because he is a bit banged up still. Let's look at the Spurs side for more reasonable player props to use, though, because I do think, as I said earlier, the Spurs can put up some points in this game in a bounce-back spot. If they play well, as I expect, then obviously Wembanyama is going to have to be the guy doing the heavy lifting. He still had 26 points in game 1, even though I didn't think he played well. And I say he didn't play well because he was 6 for 21 from the field. 6 for 21 shooting, including 2 for 9 from three-point range. He doesn't need to be taking 9 three-point shots, and I don't think he will in game 2, which makes me think he's going to get more points down low, more consistency, and he still got to the free throw line 13 times and was an incredible 12 for 13. Those are SGA numbers from the free throw line. He takes the deep breath. The Buddhist monks apparently taught him to do the, which is, by the way, a great tip in all of life, whether it's sports or anywhere. Just relax. 2 or 3 deep breaths. That 1% of you that like to leave little negative comments below, take a deep breath before you do it. I bet you'd feel a lot better. For the other 99% of you, set the sucker straight. Take a deep breath as well. They're never a bad thing in life. But yeah, Wemby, 12 for 13 at the free throw line. Only 6 for 21 from the field, and he still got 26 points in just 38 minutes. I like Wemby props over, and he got his 12 rebounds. But points over for Wemby, definitely worth a look in game number 2. De'Aaron Fox, I still don't think he's fully healthy, and boy, did he not shoot well. 3 for 13, 0 for 4 from three-point range, only 7 points. I'm neutral in Fox. Normally, I'd look for a bounce back from a good offensive player like him. But since returning midway through the Western Conference Finals, I still don't think that ankle is right, and that is a concern. Devin Vassell, buy or sell? We're going to buy because he was only 4 for 11 shooting in game number 1 and just 1 for 6 from 3, 9 points. I think Vassell gets up and over his point total in game 2. Nice bounce back spot. Castle played well, 17 points. I thought Dylan Harper was playing well. He had 28 minutes, 16 points, and for some reason they limited him in the second half. I don't think anything's wrong. He was injured in the previous series. If they're smart, if they look at their mistakes from game 1, I think pulling Harper out late was one of them. I look for even more minutes, maybe less minutes for Fox, who is struggling. So Dylan Harper, even though he had 16, had a good game, I would still look for the over on Dylan Harper props as well, especially if he gets additional minutes, which I think he should. 28 was a lot, but he should have played even more. Hey, there you go. Deep dive into the side total player props for game number 2 on Friday night, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. What are your thoughts in game 2? What side total player props are you looking at? Hey, drop them in the comments below. You know I read the comments. You know I reply back. And you know I love it when you include some analysis so we can all learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. And once again, I've given you every NBA postseason game this year, including all these NBA final games. They'll continue to come here free for you on Wager Talk TV. All I ask is a quick thumbs up like. It takes 2 seconds. I'm doing over 20-minute videos for you, and all it takes is 2 seconds on your end to let me know that you're liking them with a thumbs up like. And if you're on your mobile device, you get to let me know a second way as well. You hype it. Hype it on your mobile device. It's so much fun. Hey, 250,000 people can't be wrong. Make sure you're one of them. Subscribe. If you haven't already clicked subscribe, join over 250,000 subscribers here on the channel. Click subscribe, but make sure you click the bell as well. That's the secret sauce. Because when the videos are posted for Games 3, Games 4, Games 5 perhaps, Game 6 perhaps, you will get an instant alert when you click the bell. And I'm also giving you free baseball videos throughout the week. So click subscribe, click the bell here on Wager Talk TV for instant alerts. Now, I'm giving you a ton of information every day in these free play videos. Sometimes they make my best bet card. And if you want to know my official best bets each and every day, check out my page, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. And don't forget my baseball best bets are up there every day as well, including a bonus free play. And the bonus free play is so powerful because it's the last cut from my best bet card, just a bit outside from being an official play. So let's get Friday night's NBA best bets, my official baseball best bets, and go get that bonus free baseball play for Friday night as well on my page, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. And of course, get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. While you're there, you can check out the daily plays. Single plays are 25. A one-day all access is 39. I've actually got a three-play triple play for you for the NBA Finals Game 2 for just 29 special price. Baseball 25 per play. So the one-day all access for 39 is a great way to get all my NBA and baseball for Friday night, also Saturday, Sunday, whenever you want to get on board. 3 days is normally 69, and that's a really good deal. It's 3 days for less than the price of 2. But how about 6 days for 69, dude? Well, you can do it right now because it's buy 3, get 3 free. Woo, that rhymes. It must be awesome. Buy 3, get 3 free. Let's say that 10 times again. We might have to take a deep breath on that one. Seriously, though, there's no promo code needed. The 3 days, 69, you get 3 more bonus days, so it's now a 6-day for 69, dude. And it's a limited time offer. So here's what I recommend doing. And getting it right now, you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But you're also, and that's going to get you games 3 and 4 of the NBA Finals next week, by the way, on Monday and Wednesday. But it's also stackable. This is a nice little insider tip, Wager Talk insider secret. When a package is stackable, you can buy multiple versions of it. You can get 4, 5, 6-day passes for 69, and then you can choose your start date and when you want to use the future packages. So while this is a limited time offer, you can buy multiple 6 days for 69 while it's available and then stack them over the next several months. Hey, no matter what option you choose, don't miss my strong best bets for Friday night. Go get the bonus free play for Friday in Major League Baseball and get there quicker. Steve Merril, wagertalk.com with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Like, subscribe, comment below, and be sure to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merril. 2 R's, 1 L, Merril, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.